The meeting with the council had lasted 3 hours, and every minute of it made Zara feel more uncomfortable. Counselor Vex Tar and the other alien leaders spoke about humanity, like they were discussing pets or useful tools. They talked about protection and guidance, but their words felt like chains being wrapped around her people. When the meeting finally ended, the aliens gave them rooms in what they called the guest quarters. Zara suspected it was really a prison, but she did not say anything, though. Rooms were large but cold, with no windows and doors that could only be opened from the outside. As soon as they were alone, Jin-Ho pulled out his scanner again. "Captain, the energy readings are off every scale I have ever seen," he whispered. "This station is not just using massive amounts of power, it is collecting power from somewhere else and storing it." From where, Zara asked. Jin-Ho looked at his screen with growing alarm. "I cannot tell exactly, but the energy patterns match human technology, Captain. I think they are stealing power from our colonies." So Min had been quiet during the meeting, but now she moved to her portable computer. "Captain, I managed to copy some data files while we were in the council chamber. The aliens thought I was just taking notes, but I was actually downloading their communication records." "What did you find?" So Min's face went pale as she read through the information. "Captain, this is terrible. They have been taking energy from human settlements for over 20 years. According to these records, they call it tribute, but our colonies think it is part of some trade agreement." Tai Jun, who had been checking their weapons, moved closer. "What kind of energy are they taking?" "The life support kind." "So," Min said quietly, "they are draining power from hospitals, schools, and homes on human worlds. Our people are living in darkness and cold, so these aliens can have their luxury space station." Zara felt anger building in her chest like a fire. "How many colonies?" So Min kept reading. "Through the files, Captain. There are over 200 human settlements affected. Some of them are barely surviving. The aliens take just enough energy to keep people alive, but not enough for them to live well. They are keeping our people weak on purpose." Jin-Ho was checking his own equipment. "Captain, I can confirm this. The energy signature I detected earlier, it matches the power systems we use on New Earth and the Mars colonies. This station is literally powered by stolen human energy." Room fell silent as the crew realized what they had discovered. The Galactic Council was not protecting humanity. They were slowly killing human colonies to power their own empire, and they had been doing it for decades. Zara walked to the door and tested it. Just as she suspected, it was locked from the outside. They were prisoners now. Whether the aliens knew they had discovered the truth or not, they were not going to be allowed to leave easily. "We need more information," she said. "So Min, can you access more of their files?" So Min was already working on her computer. "I am trying, Captain, but their security is getting stronger. I think they know someone was copying data during the meeting." Tai Jun checked his weapons again, "Captain. If they know what we found, they might try to stop us from leaving. We should prepare for trouble." Zara nodded, but first she wanted to understand the full scope of what the council was doing. "Keep working. So Min, I need to know everything. How many other species? Are they doing this? To how long has this been going on?" So Min's fingers flew across her keyboard as she dug deeper into the stolen files. "Captain, you are not going to like this. It is not just humans. Every species that joins the Galactic Council has to pay tribute, but they never call it that. They tell each species it is for protection or trade or some other." Lai Jin-Ho was scanning the walls of their room. "Now, Captain, I am detecting listening devices. They are watching us right now." "Then we need to be careful," Zara said. But she was thinking fast. If the aliens were listening, that meant they were worried about something. Maybe they were not as confident as they pretended to be. So Min made a small sound of surprise. "Captain, I found something. Else the council has been planning something big. They call it the final harvest." "What does that mean?" Zara asked. So Min read from her screen. "They are planning to take all remaining energy from human colonies and other tribute species. They want to power some kind of massive weapon or ship. The files are not clear, but they are going to drain our worlds completely. That would kill everyone," Jin-Ho said. So Min nodded. "That is the point, Captain. Once they have enough power, they do not need the tribute species anymore. They are planning to destroy all the colonies and take everything. T-Jun weapons were ready now. Captain, we cannot let this happen. We have to warn Earth. But how? Zara asked. We are trapped on this station surrounded by aliens who want to kill our entire species. So Min was still reading. Captain, there might be a way. I found references to other species who tried to resist the Council. Some of them are still alive, hiding in parts of the galaxy the Council does not control. Her scanner was beeping softly. Captain, something is happening. The energy flow to the station just increased dramatically. I think they are starting the final harvest now. Zara felt her heart racing. They had walked into a trap. But it was worse than... She thought the aliens had not invited them here for negotiations. They had brought them here to keep them busy while they destroyed every human colony in the galaxy. We need to get out of here, she said, and warn our people. But the door is locked, Taijun said, and there are guards outside. So Min looked up from her computer. Captain, I might have an idea. I found the station layout in their files. There are maintenance tunnels that connect all the sections. If we can get into the tunnels, we might be able to reach the communication center. And then what? Jin Ho asked. Then we send a warning to every human colony and hope some of them can escape before the Council drains them dry, Zara said. So Min was already packing her equipment. Captain, there is something else. The files mention other human ships. Ships that the Council does not know about. I think some of our people have been preparing for this. What kind of ships? Zara asked. Military ships. So Min said with the first smile she had shown. In ours, Captain. I think someone back home figured out what the Council was doing and they have been getting ready for war. Zara felt hope for the first time since arriving at the station. Maybe they were not as helpless as the aliens thought. Maybe. Humanity had been playing a longer game than anyone realized. But first they had to escape from this prison and warn their people. And they had to do it before the Council finished stealing the last energy from human worlds. The real fight was about to begin. Rend here, Captain Zara Wolfe thought as she stared out the front window of her ship. The darkness of space stretched forever. But something felt wrong about this place. The huge space station ahead of them looked like a giant metal city floating in nothing. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built, and it glowed with strange lights that hurt her eyes to look at. Jin Ho, the ship's engineer, was bent over his control panel. His face showed worry as numbers flashed across his screen. Captain, something is very strange about this place, he said without looking up. The energy readings make no sense at all. This station is using enough power to run 100 human cities, but I cannot figure out what they are doing with all that energy. Zara walked over to look at his screen. The numbers meant nothing to her, but she trusted Jin Ho more than anyone when it came to understanding how things worked. He had saved their lives many times by spotting problems before they became dangerous. If he was worried, then she should be worried too. What do you think it means? She asked. Jin Ho shook his head. I do not know yet, Captain. But no space station should need this much power unless they are doing something very big, something they do not want anyone to know about. The communication system made a loud beeping sound, so Min, their navigator, turned from her station. Captain, we are getting a message from the station. They want us to dock at Bay 7. They say the Council is waiting for us. Zara felt her stomach twist. The Galactic Council had sent the message 3 months ago asking her to come here. They said it was a great honor that humans were being invited to meet with them. But Zara had read enough history to know that when powerful people called something an honor, it usually meant trouble for the little people. Tell them we will dock in 10 minutes, she said. Then she turned to face her crew. Listen, everyone, I know this looks like a friendly meeting, but keep your eyes open. The Council did not invite us here to be nice. They want something from us, and I do not think we will like what it is. Tae-jun, their weapons expert, looked up from his station. Captain, should I prepare the weapon systems? Just in case. Not yet, Zara said, but make sure everything is ready. If things go bad, I want to be able to fight our way out of here. The docking process took longer than it should have. The station seemed to be scanning their ship with every kind of sensor imaginable. Zara wondered what they were looking for. Weapons, probably. Or maybe they were just trying to figure out how human technology worked. Either way, it made her feel like a bug under a microscope. When the docking was finally complete, a group of alien workers came aboard to escort them through the station. Zara had seen pictures of other alien species before, but seeing them in person was different. The workers were tall and thin with gray skin and huge black eyes. They moved in a strange way that reminded her of insects. They did not speak to the humans at all, just pointed in the direction they wanted them to go. The hallways of the station were enormous. Everything was built for creatures much larger than humans. The ceiling was so high that Zara could barely see it. The walls were covered with strange symbols that seemed to move when she was not looking directly at them. The air smelled like metal, and something sweet that made her nose itch. As they walked through the station, Zara noticed other alien species working at various jobs. Some were cleaning the floors. Others were carrying boxes or working on computers, but all of them stopped what they were doing to stare at the humans. Their expressions were hard to read, but Zara got the feeling that most of them had never seen humans before and were not impressed by what they saw. Jin-Ho was still carrying his portable scanner, and he kept looking at it with growing confusion. "Captain," he whispered, "the energy readings are getting stronger as we go deeper into the station. Whatever they are powering it is huge." So Min was also taking readings, but with different equipment. "Captain," she said quietly, "I am detecting communication signals going to and from hundreds of different star systems. This place is not just a meeting hall. It is the control center for something much bigger." They walked for what felt like hours through corridors that all looked the same. Finally, they reached a set of massive doors that were covered in gold and precious stones. The alien workers stopped and pointed at the doors, then walked away without saying anything. Zara looked at her crew. "This is it," she said. "Remember what I told you? Keep your eyes open and do not trust anything they tell." As the doors opened by themselves, revealing a chamber so large that it could have held a small city. The ceiling disappeared into darkness above them, and the walls were lined with floating platforms where alien creatures sat watching them. From up close, Zara could see that there were dozens of different species represented. Each one looked more dangerous than the last. In the center of the chamber was a raised platform with a single chair. Obviously meant for her, the chair looked tiny compared to everything else in the room, which she was sure was intentional. They wanted her to feel small and unimportant. As she walked toward the chair, Zara could hear whispers and what sounded like laughter from the creatures on the floating platforms. She could not understand their languages, but the tone was clear. They thought this was funny. A little human coming to visit the mighty Galactic Council. One of the creatures floated down to meet them. It was huge with blue skin, 4 arms and teeth that looked like they could bite through metal. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rumbling like distant thunder. "Welcome, little humans. I am Counselor Vex Tar. We are so pleased that your primitive species has finally developed enough to join civilized society." The other creatures made sounds that Zara assumed was laughter. She forced herself to smile politely, even though every instinct told her to reach for her weapon. "Thank you for inviting us, Counselor," she said. "We are honored to be here." Vex Tar smiled, showing all of those dangerous teeth. "Oh, the honor is all ours, little human. We have such wonderful plans for your species. You are going to be so useful to us." Behind her, Zara heard Jin-Ho make a small sound of surprise. She knew he had found something on his scanner, something that confirmed her worst fears about this place. But she kept smiling and pretended everything was normal, because she was starting to realize that this meeting was not what it seemed to be. And if she was right, then humanity was in more danger than anyone back on Earth could possibly imagine. The game was just beginning. The alien soldiers stood frozen in the doorway, their weapons half raised, but nobody moved to fire. Zara could see confusion in their eyes as they tried to understand what was happening. The communication system was still active, and her voice was still being broadcast throughout the station. So Min was reading data from her computer screen faster than Zara had ever seen. "Captain, the human fleets are revealing themselves everywhere. The aliens are seeing our ships for the first time, and their sensors cannot believe what they are detecting." "What are they detecting?" Zara asked while keeping her eyes on the soldiers' ships that are twice as fast as anything the Council has ever built. So Min said with growing excitement, "Weapons that could destroy entire planets' energy shields that make their best defenses look like paper." Our technology is not just better. Captain, it is decades ahead of theirs. Jin Ho was also checking his equipment. Captain, I am detecting massive power fluctuations. Throughout the station, the aliens are trying to activate their weapon systems, but something is wrong. They cannot get full power. That is because Zara said with a smile, "We have been learning about their technology for 20 years. Every piece of equipment they use, every energy system, every computer program has human influences in it. We helped them build this station and we left ourselves a back door." The alien soldiers finally found their voices, and one of them spoke in broken human language. "You will surrender now or we will kill you," Zara laughed. "Actually, I think you should surrender to us. Your leaders have been lying to you about everything, including how powerful humans really are." She turned back to the communication system and spoke to the entire station again. "This is Captain Zara Wolfe with an update for everyone listening. The human fleets around your homeworlds are now fully visible. Your sensors should be showing you exactly what we are capable of." Jun was watching. The soldiers carefully, "Captain, they are getting nervous orders through their communication devices. I think the council is panicking." "Good," Zara said. "Let them panic. They brought this on themselves." The communication system crackled and suddenly a new voice filled the room. It was Counselor Vextar and he sounded furious. "Human, you have made a terrible mistake. We have weapons that can destroy your pathetic Earth before your ships can fire a single shot." Zara activated her personal communicator and spoke directly to Vextar. "Counselor, I was hoping you would make threats. It makes what happens next so much easier to justify." "What happens next?" Vextar demanded. Zara looked at her crew and nodded. So Min activated a new program on her computer, and suddenly every screen in the communication center lit up with images from space. Around every council homeworld, human ships were moving into attack positions, Counselor Zara said, as the images showed the true size of the human fleet. "You are looking at over 3,000 ships. Each one is more advanced than your entire military combined. But that is not the scary part." The images changed to show the weapons systems on the human ships, energy cannons that glowed with power missile arrays, that could level cities' defensive shields that shimmered like soap bubbles, but were stronger than any armor the Council had ever built. "The scary part," Zara continued, "is that we built all of this while you thought we were weak, helpless primitives. We have been planning this moment for decades. Every human colony you stole energy from was also a secret shipyard. Every trade agreement you forced on us gave us access to your technology. Every diplomatic meeting taught us your weaknesses." Jin Ho was grinning as he watched his scanner. "Captain, the station weapons are completely offline. They cannot fire a single shot. Our computer virus has taken control of their entire system." The alien soldiers in the room were now backing toward the door, but Zara's voice stopped them. "Do not leave yet," she said. "You are going to witness history." She turned back to the communication system. "Counselor Vextar, I am now going to give you and the entire Galactic Council a simple choice. You have exactly 10 minutes to begin shutting down the final harvest and returning stolen energy to every colony you have been draining. If you refuse, the human fleets will begin destroying Council worlds, starting with yours. You cannot do this." Vextar screamed. "We are the Galactic Council. We rule over 1,000 species." "You ruled over 1,000 species," Zara corrected. "But you made one mistake. You assumed that humans would always be weak victims. You never considered that we might be apex predators who were just waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves." So Min looked up from her computer. "Captain, I am getting reports from human colonies across the galaxy. The energy drains have stopped. The Council is already beginning to comply." Tae-jun was laughing. "Now, Captain, look at the soldiers. They are putting down their weapons." The alien soldiers had indeed lowered their weapons and were staring at the screens showing the human fleet. One of them spoke in his own language, then switched to human words. "We did not know. We were told humans were protected species. We did not know about the energy." Zara looked at him with something like pity. "I believe you. Most of the people on this station probably had no idea what their leaders were doing, but ignorance does not excuse what happened to billions of innocent people." The communication system activated again, and Vextar's voice was different now. less angry and more desperate. Human captain, perhaps we can negotiate. We can discuss terms. There are no negotiations, Zara said. There are no terms. You will immediately stop all energy theft from every species under Council control. You will return everything you have stolen. You will submit to human oversight of all Council activities, and you will accept that the age of Council rule is over. What if we refuse? Vextar asked, though. His voice suggested he already knew the answer. Then you will discover why every species in this galaxy should fear humanity. When we are truly angry, Zara replied. Your choice, Counselor. Submit to justice or face extinction. The station fell silent again. Everyone was waiting for the Council decision. But Zara already knew what it would be. The aliens had spent so long believing in their own superiority that they had never prepared for the possibility of meeting someone stronger. Jin-Ho was checking his scanner again. Captain, I am detecting surrender signals from Council ships across the galaxy. They are standing down their weapons and requesting terms. So, Min was smiling as she read her computer. Captain, colonies throughout human space are reporting that energy levels are returning to normal. The Council is following through on your demands. Zara nodded. She had expected this. The Council members were bullies, and bullies always back down when faced with superior force. Counselor Vextar, she said into the communication system. Do we have your surrender? There was a long pause. Then Vextar's voice came back much quieter than before. Yes, human captain. The Galactic Council surrenders to your demands. Zara looked around the room at her crew, at the alien soldiers who were now treating them with something like respect, at the screens showing human ships taking control of space around every council. Well, the ultimatum had worked. Humanity was no longer the victim, now the real work could begin. Getting out of the locked room took Jin-Ho exactly 17 minutes. He used his engineering tools to quietly remove a wall panel that led to the maintenance tunnels. So Min had found in the station blueprints. The tunnels were dark and cramped, but they were better than sitting in that prison waiting for the aliens to kill them. The 4 humans crawled through the narrow spaces for over an hour following. So Min directions from her stolen data files. The air in the tunnels was hot and smelled. Like burning metal, Jin-Ho scanner showed massive energy flows all around them, confirming that the final harvest had already begun. Captain Tai-Jun whispered from behind her. I can hear alarms going off somewhere. They know we escaped. Good, Zara said. Let them panic. We have work to do. They reached the communications center access point just as so. Min had predicted Jin-Ho used his tools again to open the panel, and they dropped down into a room full of alien computer equipment. The room was empty, but Zara could hear footsteps in the hallway outside. So Min rushed to the nearest computer terminal while Tai-Jun watched the door. Captain, I am in their system. I can send messages to human colonies, but I do not know how long we have before they find us. Send the warning now, Zara ordered. Tell every human settlement about the energy theft and the final harvest plan. Tell them to prepare for attack. So Min's fingers flew across the alien keyboard, but then she stopped. Captain, there is a problem. The communication array is being jammed from the main control room. I cannot send messages outside the station. Where is the main control room? Jin-Ho asked. So Min checked her stolen blueprints. It is in the center of the station, heavily guarded. Captain, we would have to fight our way through hundreds of alien soldiers to reach it. Then that is what we do. Zara said. Captain, that is suicide. Tai-Jun said. Even with our weapons, we cannot fight that many enemies. Zara was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then, she smiled. Maybe we do not have to fight them, maybe we just have to make them listen. What do you mean? So Min asked. Zara pointed to the computer equipment in the room. Can you use this to access the station internal communication system? The one they use to talk to each other. So Min checked the connections. Captain, yes. I think so, but why? Because Zara said we are going to tell every alien on this station exactly what their leaders have been doing, and then we are going to demand they stop the final harvest or face the consequences. What consequences? Jin-Ho asked. We are 4 humans trapped on a station with thousands of aliens. Zara smiled again. and pulled out a small device from her belt. The consequences that have been waiting in space. Around every council world for the past 6 months, the device was a communication beacon, one that had been hidden in their ship electronics. Since arriving at the station, it had been sending coded signals to coordinates that only Zara knew. The signals were simple but clear. Humanity was ready, so Min managed to connect to the station communication system. "Captain, I have access to every speaker and screen on the station. I can broadcast to everyone at once." "Do it," Zara said, "and patch me through to the main council chamber too." It's time. Counselor Vextar learned that humans are not as helpless as he thinks. The communication system activated, and suddenly Zara's voice was being heard throughout the massive space station. In the council chamber, on worker levels in private quarters everywhere, aliens stopped what they were doing to listen. Citizens of the Galactic Council. Zara began, her voice steady and strong. "I am Captain Zara Wolfe of the human fleet. Your leaders have been lying to you. For decades they told you that tribute species like humans pay for protection and guidance. But that is not true. They have been stealing energy from our colonies, keeping our people weak and dying while you live in luxury." Alarms started going off throughout the station, but Zara kept talking. "Right now, your council is implementing something called the Final Harvest. They plan to drain every last bit of energy from human worlds and other tribute species. This will kill billions of innocent people, including children, families and elders who have done nothing wrong except trust that the council would keep them safe." Jinho was monitoring his scanner. "Captain, massive energy spikes throughout the station. They are trying to cut our communication. Keep talking." Taejun said, "I can hear alien voices in the hallway. They are coming for us." Zara spoke faster, but her voice remained calm. "To the workers and citizens who did not know about this genocide, I understand you were lied to just like we were, but now you know the truth. Your leaders are mass murderers who have been using your taxes and labor to power their killing machine." So Min was working frantically at the computer. "Captain, I am detecting response signals from outside the station. Something big is happening in space." That something, Zara said to her audience, was exactly what she had been waiting for. To Counselor Vextar and the other council leaders, Zara continued, "I want you to look at your long-range sensors right now. Look at the space around your home worlds. Look at the fleets that have been waiting patiently for my signal." The sound of breaking metal echoed through the communication center as alien soldiers began cutting through the door. "You thought humans were primitive and weak," Zara said as sparks flew from the door. "You thought we would never figure out your plan. You were wrong. We have been watching you for years, learning your weaknesses, preparing for this moment." The door exploded inward and alien soldiers poured into the room, but they stopped when they saw that the humans were not trying to run. Zara stood calmly in front of the communication equipment, still broadcasting to the entire station. "Every human colony you have been stealing from," Zara continued, "was also building ships, weapons technology that makes your most advanced systems look like toys from children. We let you think you were in control while we prepared for war." Taejun had his weapons ready, but the alien soldiers seemed confused. They had expected to find desperate prisoners. Instead, they found humans who looked like they were in complete control of the situation. So Min was staring at her computer screen in amazement. "Captain, the response signals, they are coming from everywhere. Human ships are decloaking around every major council world. There are thousands of them." The alien soldiers looked at each other uncertainly. They could kill the humans, but something told them that would be a very bad idea. Zara smiled at the soldiers, then spoke into the communication system. "One more time, Counselor Vextar, you now have a choice. Stop the final harvest immediately and begin returning the energy you have stolen from our colonies, or discover what happens when humanity stops pretending to be weak. The ships surrounding your worlds are not there for negotiation. They are there for justice." The station fell completely silent as everyone waited to see what would happen next. The age of human weakness was over. 6 months after the council's surrender, the galaxy looked very different. Captain Zara Wolfe stood on the bridge of her new flagship, watching human patrol ships move between the stars like guardians. The ship was 10 times larger than her old vessel, and equipped with technology that would have seemed impossible just a year ago. The transformation had been faster than anyone expected. Once word spread that the mighty Galactic Council had surrendered to human species across the galaxy began. Reaching out, many had been suffering under Council rule for centuries, and they wanted protection from their new human guardians. "Captain," so Min said from her position at the navigation station, "we are receiving another request for membership in the Human Protection Alliance. This time from the Kalari system. They say the Council was stealing their children for slave labor. Add them to the list." Zara replied, "How many does that make now?" "Over 400 star systems." So Min answered with a smile, "The Alliance is growing faster than we can process the applications." Jinho looked up from his engineering station. "Captain, the energy restoration project is ahead of schedule. We have returned full power to 90% of the colonies that were affected by Council theft. The remaining 10% should be completed within the month." "Excellent," Zara said. "What about the war crimes?" "Tribunals." Tae Jun, who was now head of Human Security Forces, responded, "Captain, we have arrested over 2,000 Council officials for crimes against sentient beings. Most of them are cooperating with our investigations. The evidence of their crimes goes back over 300 years. 300 years of exploitation and murder." Zara thought it was amazing that the Council had been able to hide their crimes for so long. But then again, they had controlled all communication between species until humans changed everything. The communication system activated and Admiral Chen's voice filled the bridge. "Captain Wolfe, please report to Conference Room Alpha." "We have visitors." Zara walked through the corridors of her ship, noting how different everything felt now. Human ships were no longer cramped vessels trying to hide from alien detection. They were mobile cities designed to project power and protection across the galaxy. The hallways were wide and bright, filled with crew members from dozens of different species who had joined the Human Alliance conference room. Alpha was packed with representatives from various star systems. All of them had requested human protection, and all of them looked nervous. Despite the changes, many species still found it hard to believe that humans were really in charge now. Admiral Chen stood at the front of the room, next to a holographic display showing the current state of the galaxy. "Captain Wolfe, these representatives have some concerns about our expansion policies." Zara looked around the room at the various alien faces. Some were familiar species that had been under Council rule, others were completely new to her. "What kind of concerns?" A tall creature with silver skin and multiple eyes stepped forward. "Captain, we are grateful for human protection, but some of our people worry that you will become like the Council. Powerful species often become corrupt." Zara understood their fear. It was reasonable given what they had experienced, but she also knew that humans were different. "We are not like the Council," she said firmly. "We do not rule through fear or exploitation. Our strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves." "But how can we be sure?" another representative asked a small furry creature whose species she did not recognize. "Power changes people. What happens when humans decide they no longer want to protect us?" "That is a fair question," Zara replied. "So let me show you something that the Council never had." She activated a control panel, and the holographic display changed to show the human command structure. Unlike the Council pyramid where power flowed down from a few leaders, the human system looked more like a web with connections spreading in all directions. "Every species in the Human Alliance has representation in our government," Zara explained. "Your people choose your own leaders, and those leaders have real power in Alliance decisions. We do not make laws for you. We make laws with you." Jinho stepped forward from his position near the door. "Captain, perhaps you should tell them about the limitation protocols." Yes," Zara said. "The limitation protocols. These are laws that humans created to limit our own power. We cannot occupy any world without invitation. We cannot take resources without fair payment. And most importantly, we cannot use our military strength against Alliance members for any reason." The representatives looked surprised. No species had ever voluntarily limited their own power before, especially not the most powerful species in the galaxy. "But what if humans change their minds?" the silver-skinned representative asked. "What if future human leaders decide to ignore these protocols? Then they will face the same thing the Council faced," Zara said with a smile. human citizens who refuse to accept tyranny. Our own people will remove any leader who tries to become a dictator. We have done it before in our own history, and we will do it again if necessary. So Min activated another display, showing human colonies across the galaxy. Captain, perhaps they should also know about the Independence Guarantee. The Independence Guarantee states that any species can leave the human alliance at any time for any reason. Zara explained, "If you decide you no longer want human protection, you are free to go. We will not punish you or attack you or try to force you to stay." The room was quiet as the representatives absorbed this information. Finally, the furry creature spoke again. "This is very different from what we expected. Most powerful species demand absolute loyalty. Humans are not. Like most species," Taejun said from his position near the wall. "We understand that true strength comes from willing cooperation, not forced submission." Admiral Chen stepped forward. "Captain, there is one more thing these representatives should know about our plans for the future." Zara nodded. "Tell them about Project Renaissance project. Renaissance is our plan to share human technology with every alliance member." Admiral Chen explained, "We are not keeping our advanced ships and weapons for ourselves. We are teaching other species how to build their own." The silver-skinned representative looked shocked. "You would give away your military advantages. We would share them," Zara corrected. "A galaxy where only humans have advanced technology is not stable. Eventually someone would challenge us and the result would be more war. We prefer a galaxy where everyone is strong enough to defend themselves, but if everyone has the same technology, what makes humans special?" The furry creature asked. Jinho smiled. "Nothing. And that is exactly how we want it. When every species has the same opportunities, the same technology, the same protections, then conflicts become about ideas instead of power. And humans have always been good at winning through better ideas." The representatives spent another hour asking questions about human policies, trade agreements, and legal systems. By the end of the meeting, Zara could see that their fears were being replaced by something she had not expected: hope. As the meeting ended, and the representatives returned to their ships to report back to their governments, Zara stood looking out at the stars. The galaxy was becoming something new, something better than what the council had created. So Min joined her at the observation window. "Captain, do you think this will really work? Can we build a galaxy based on cooperation instead of domination?" Zara thought about the question. The old galaxy had been built on fear and exploitation. Species survived by submitting to stronger predators or by becoming predators themselves. But humans offered a third option: strength used to protect rather than exploit. "I think it will work," she said finally. "Because for the first time in galactic history, the strongest species is also the most reluctant to rule." The human alliance was not an empire, it was something entirely new. A community of equals protected by guardians who asked for nothing in return except the chance to make the galaxy a better place. And as Zara watched human ships patrol the trade routes, protecting merchant vessels from pirates, as she received reports of former council slaves being returned to their families, as she saw species that had been enemies for centuries now working together in alliance councils, she knew that humanity had achieved something remarkable. They had not conquered the galaxy. They had freed it. The age of human guardianship had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.